Do not, under any circumstances, go to these people to flame them. I don't support witch hunts, lynch mobbing, or flame wars, so don't do any of those. As for the subjects themselves, my video is for the purpose of criticism and entertainment. Take it or leave it. My content is not here to start drama. Please do not treat it like it is.
Oh, looks like there's some leftover candy from this guy's house. I wonder what he's got. Huh, blue raspberry commentary material. Lick, 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 lick. Ugh, it's kinda sour. Oh well, I guess it's free candy, so what's to lose? So, this is a rather unusual scenario we have here. Today, I'm doing a commentary on a Halloween top 10 made by none other than famed gaming YouTuber ProJared. Now, I'll be honest, I actually really like ProJared as a content creator, and it honestly kind of hurts having to expose his mistakes, especially after what he's had to deal with IRL. But at the same time, this video really hit some of the wrong buttons for me. I mean, to be fair, I don't necessarily hate this video per se, but after watching it through a few times, I did notice a few mistakes here and there. Jared, if you're watching this, hello, I'm Blazing Larvesta. Today, I will be providing a critique of your top 10 scariest retro enemies not from horror games list, pointing out mistakes you made in your video, and giving you advice on how to improve future works. Please note that I may make a few jokes that may come off as hurtful or insulting to you, but in the end, said jokes are purely made for entertainment purposes, and I do not actually wish any ill will towards you. With that said, I hope you enjoy my video. Oh my god. Is that? No! It can't be! Off-screen footage?! Ah! Jeez, that scene of off-screen footage really hurt my eyes. Ow!
I can only name a handful of horror games that have genuinely terrified me over the years. Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem, PT. But you know what was way scarier? Pixels. None of this polygon back when imagination was used to fill the void, and it was gruesome.
You say, as you cite 2 polygon-based games and no pixel games that scared you? Double standards are the best.
Ultimate Psycho Russia!
Bubble Bobble is one of the cutest games ever made. You play as a cute little dragon, all the enemies are adorable, you spit bubbles, and when the enemies pop, they become delicious food. Seriously, everything about this game is adorable and cutesy. How can it be spooky?
Everything in this cutesy game is just so cute and adorable, which is why I'm placing an enemy friend this game on a scariest enemies list.
Yeah, next time you might want to word your sentences better, just a suggestion. Also, a production issue that absolutely plagues this video, blatant black borders. Now, those of you who have been with the CC for a while now may remember a hashtag called #BlackBordersMatter, which is a suggestion to content creators to remove black borders to make their videos more appealing. I bring this up as Jared here doesn't even try to hide his blatant black borders, given that his intro skit, number transition, and zoomed in gameplay all filled the entire screen. Look, Jared, I get that you want to show your gameplay in the original resolution, but in that case, put a background over your footage, like this. See? Instant pretty! In the end, I know this isn't an absolutely serious issue that completely decimates your video, but with content creators stepping up their visual game a lot as of late, having something like these blatant black borders will make your video come off as really obsolete and outdated, and will likely detract some of your viewers from watching your crunched up footage. Please put a little more effort into making your video more visually appealing next time.
Ultimate Psycho Russia!
Zombies Ate My Neighbors is filled with scary monsters. I mean, the whole game is making numerous horror movies come to life. You got the typical zombies and mummies.
Oh, so this segment is on the zombies and mummies. Not exactly the kind of enemies I would expect on this list, but whatever.
Forget about them.
Oh, a fake out. Kind of predictable, but oh well. Let's see the actual candidate.
The chainsaw-wielding maniacs chase you down, and if you knock them over, they'll get right back up again. We'll cut through walls when you think you're safe.
Ah, it's on the chainsaw enemies. Well, let's see what you have to say about them.
Nah, forget about them.
Wait, another fake out? Okay, who is it really on? I'm starting to get a little impatient.
The axe-wielding baby is vicious, slicing you up, and once you think you've defeated him, he bursts into flames and continues to attack in a horrific fiery onslaught.
Oh, it's on the axe-wielding kids. Either that,
But forget about him.
I saw it coming, and I'm still annoyed by it. Okay, can we please get on with the actual segment? Please!
The scariest enemy in Zombies Ate My Neighbors is a baby.
Oh, so it's on the giant baby. Well, that took longer than it should have.
The worst part is to finish this stage, you have to kill him.
Oh no! This boss fight is scary because we have to kill it to beat the stage!
Sorry, Jared, but did you even think this line through? By the logic you put in this line, almost every boss fight in existence should be on this list. Next time, don't cite a fear that's commonplace in enemies, including those that are not scary, as a justification that one boss fight in particular is scary. Following this entire segment pretty much consisted of you going on discussing stuff that has little to nothing to do with your actual candidate of this segment, and not even in a way that's clever and doesn't feel like a complete waste of everyone's time. The segment is around 55.5 seconds long, and around half of that is spent spouting out irrelevant nonsense before we even get to the actual candidate of this list. Yeah, could you maybe next time spend more time actually talking about your candidates for your entries?
Ever play Ski Free? This game was pretty much on every Windows machine in the early 90s. It was so relaxing. You ski downhill in one of 3 different courses, and it's just super pleasant. You're feeling the fresh, cool air in your face, hitting other people, and doing sick jumps into dope flips for mad points. This was the ultimate wind-down game for Windows users long before— Ah, what the— No!
Okay, what makes this Yeti enemy scary? Honestly, Jared, making a speaks for itself segment like this is probably the laziest thing you can do in a countdown. Segments like these don't explain why a segment is on a countdown, leaving viewers confused as to what in the world happened. Not only that, but in this case, the footage you show really doesn't do a good job at explaining why the Yeti is scary either, as it just shows the monster, who looks like something straight out of a 3-year-old, trying no less, chasing after your character and gobbling them up. And while, yes, that is admittedly a little unnerving, the footage shown just makes the Yeti come off as a random jump scare.
I'm not much of a Sonic fan these days, but I certainly enjoyed his original games on the Genesis, Sonic 2 in particular. This entry isn't so much a single enemy, but it's probably the most terrifying thing any Sonic player has ever had to deal with. Imagine it. You're Sonic, you're sprinting forward, going fast, tails is worthless, having a good time. And then, bloop, there it is. The water.
Oh, now we're doing this. Jared, real talk.
Why did you break your own rules?
I mean, seriously, you clearly said in your intro that you were talking about scary video game enemies, not hazards.
This entry isn't so much a single enemy, but it's probably the most terrifying thing any Sonic player has ever had to deal with.
That does not validate your point in the slightest. Honestly, it kind of goes back to your worst games in 2012 and 2015 lists, where you placed an entire company on said lists when they shouldn't even have been qualified in the first place either. Moving on.
There is one enemy that scared the jeepers out of me the first time I saw it, and it stuck with me to this day. She starts showing up on the 3rd level of the dungeon. It's a ghost, but a lady ghost, with a rather pretty face floating there quite calmly, until— that's the face that got me so hard. I was lulled into a false sense of security, and then— Alright, well, if that doesn't scare you, maybe this will. If you want to continue your game, it takes 5 separate passwords. Woo!
Nobody cares! Nobody!
Okay, in all seriousness though, that came completely out of nowhere. If that was meant to be a joke, it's a rather weak joke, as it has absolutely nothing to do with this segment's candidate, the Ghost Lady, and just serves as a mindless distraction that really shouldn't have been included in this segment.
Oh, but you see, the 5 passwords were the candidate for this segment.
Well, if that's the case, though to be fair, I seriously doubt it is, then not only did you ramble on about irrelevant nonsense for most of the segment again, but just like the Sonic 2 water, the passwords shouldn't be on the list either. It would be even more out of place here, since at least the water is still an obstacle, unlike this password, which not only doesn't hinder the player, but actually supports them by letting them record their progress. Again, I don't think you meant for the passwords to be the candidate, but if someone mistook your joke for the actual candidate, I really wouldn't be surprised. Okay, after this point, there's not much left to say about this video. The number 3 segment suffers from the same issues the number 7 segment had, being that he spends way too much time talking about irrelevant stuff and only talks about the candidate of that segment, the son from Mario 3, in the last few seconds. Besides that, the number 2 and 1 segments are actually pretty good, as he does go on about how the enemies in said segments are scary, using actually good reasoning to defend his claims. That being said, before I end this video, I did have one thing to say about part of his closing dialogue.
Oh, I forgot the Vengeance Ghost from Daggerfall.
No, Jared, you didn't forget about the Vengeance Ghost. You deliberately left it out for the sake of your end skit. If you really did want to talk about the enemy, why didn't you include it on the list, or at the very least put it as an honorable mention? Not only that, but Elder Scrolls 2, the game the Vengeance Ghost originated from, is a polygon-based game, which, while no, doesn't exactly break your criteria, given that this is a Scariest retro enemies list, not a Scariest 2D enemies list. However, it does go back to something you said in your intro.
But you know what was way scarier? Pixels. None of this polygon back when imagination was used to fill the void, and it was gruesome.
Yeah, remember when I called you out for double standards earlier in the video? Well, this line goes on to further drive home that point, as if you really did think polygon-based games failed at being scary, why would an enemy from a polygon-based game even get a mention on the list? The answer? It shouldn't. Jared, next time, could you please word your thoughts more consistently? With that, I'll end the video, as there's really nothing left to say at this point. Jared just says he didn't do a jump scare this video, waits a few seconds, then shows a jump scare from Sinistar, which ends the video. So, final thoughts. I'll be honest, Jared, this list wasn't an absolute disaster, but the issues it had were still very much apparent. Not only do you not go into much detail on why some of these segments are on the list, but at least one of them isn't even qualified for this list in the first place. On top of that, the wording in a few areas is somewhat awkward, and your presentation admittedly could use a bit of work, most notably with your blatant black borders. Jared, for future countdowns, I recommend you elaborate more on why your candidates are on your list instead of pointlessly going on about irrelevant stuff or just building up to your candidates, and don't bother including candidates that don't qualify for your list. I expect far better from you because I know you can do better than this. After all, those 900,000 plus subscribers wouldn't be there for you if your content consisted mostly of mediocrities like this. I should probably explain what's going on here. Back in May, a user called Phantom N did a commentary on my first countdown, that being my top 10 disappointing games list. I've heard countless times that some people like a particular game so much that they actually want to live in that game's world. That being said, they should probably think twice about that decision because some video game worlds would be painful and torturous to live in.
Are you sitting there waiting for a jump scare to happen?